Hey, g'day viewers, and Gary, aka Draft Science. I'm going to review what you said. It's just so much. I made a 21-minute video, that's all, and you made 43 minutes and 36 seconds of rebuttal. And then you complained I made a 21-minute video. It's nonsensical for a start. In your alt science, or did you mean alt science? I don't know. At the 28-minute 39-second mark, we're talking about the trip to Mars. I said 4 days. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not 2 or 3, 4. And that's accelerating for 24 hours at 1g on top of the planetary bodies involved, on top of their gravity, which is it decreases the further away you get away, you know that. But anyway, 1g is not an additional 22 miles an hour per second. It's per second squared. And while we're on the subject of time, time is a dimension. It's not somewhere you can go, as you know. I know you realise that. But dimension simply means measurement. And we measure time in seconds. Well, that's a standard international measuring reference, seconds. We measure time in seconds. We live in three-dimensional space which have 6 degrees of freedom. Left, right, up, down, forward, back. And any object in that three-dimensional space obviously has measurements. We've got the width, the length and the depth. If we move that object from here to there, that's 4-dimensional space-time. We've moved a 3-dimensional object in time a certain distance. That's all space-time is to me. But in reality, we live in a 3-dimensional universe. I don't believe in the multiverse or travelling in time. Time to me is a one-way road. We go forward in time, and it's linear. We're travelling at 1 second per second. Anything else is just ridiculous. So let's review your critique of my video. So firstly, you've got to learn what acceleration is, Gary. Really, come on. 24 hours at 1g, it's 86,400 seconds. So you throw that into the equation and you square it. You end up with 3 million kilometres an hour. I'm not sure what that is in miles an hour. I don't use that antiquated measuring system, and neither should you, Gary, because come on, the 1776 War of Independence, you severed all ties with Britain. I'm surprised the Americans didn't invent the metric system back then, just to have a different system to good old Mother England. And by the way, I'm a loyal servant of the Crown. I swore an allegiance to Queen Elizabeth. Once that that can expire only if I die or the Queen dies. And if she dies, I don't have to renew it. Right. Then I mentioned my admiration for Wernher von Braun, whatever you want to call him. I think it's Braun. I think the German, yeah, das ist gut. Yes, Wernher von Braun in German, correct pronunciation. And the man deserves respect, and but he was a member of the Nazi Party, and you had to play the Nazi card. And trust me, if I have as much reason as many other survivors of World War II to hate the Nazis as any of them, because they affected my life. All the veterans that came back mentally fucked up, they caused me hell when I was a little kid. I had one of them tried to kill me with an axe. A Polish pilot who saw his country decimated by the Nazis. And while we're on the subject of Nazis, they basically, in their own minds, they legalised murder. They're a very small percentage of the population, like your leftists are now, but very vocal. And they manipulated the political system, and if anyone hates politics, it's me, because it's just bullshit. You know, politics is what is causing our suffering right now. So the Nazis went on to make free speech illegal. You weren't allowed to criticise the government, and protests were illegal, and any sort of opposition was squashed. So unless you're a Nazi, you didn't get anywhere. So I can see why Werner joined the Nazi party, and I saw his membership number. I did a bit of research. Yeah, he was a Nazi, and he did join the party, and he had a membership in the number of around 5 million something. So he didn't join day one, or he didn't even join in the early days. But yeah, but you had to play the Nazi card. You lose points for that, Gary. That's just been a dickhead. Okay, moving on. Of course I'm altering the vectors. The force vectors. I'm altering the force vectors to achieve, according to Vox Populi, anti-gravity. So there you go. I shall go with the popular call and call it anti-gravity. Whatever. To me it's just force vectoring. So that's my little voice of opposition. But if you want, we'll call it anti-gravity. So, yeah, he spent 43 minutes, 36 seconds criticising me. And at 42 minutes and 30 seconds, he said, I didn't know whether I was stating it's something other than push or pull. No, it's definitely push, but it's not push from behind, it's push internally. And I actually conducted some different experiments on motion and vectors after, or within the last few days. And yeah, definitely we are getting an interference with gravity, an interference with a very simple machine. It's not the full-blown machine, because I can't build the full-blown machine yet until I've shown my son-in-law. I've shown nobody, absolutely no. I won't even show my wife. She would be on bloody YouTube or on Facebook something and say, oh yeah, it works like this, it's really easy. And of course it's easy. Once you realise how easy it is, you'll be all smacking yourself. So it is a push force, but internal. Like this phone, I can feel the weight. Now some people go, oh no, it's time dilation and you can feel it pulling towards the earth. No, I can feel, once you realise, I can feel that the mass of this phone is interacting, with A, the field of universal gravitation, right? And it's also interacting with the mass field of the earth. So you've got the mass field of the phone, the mass field of the earth, and then in between those you've got the field of universal gravitation, which is a mass field. It's made of every bit of mass in the entire universe. So that's your excitation field, that universal field. That's the field that causes the excitation for this thing to have a mass field. And then the Earth, it has its own mass field, which is again caused by the field of universal gravitation, or the universal mass field. And they cause each other, the force induced into this phone, the field interacting, causes the force of this to accelerate down. F equals ma. That's a very old formula and it's still relevant today. Now at 47 minutes and 40 seconds in your video, you said I was some sort of electric universe nut. No. Those guys, well, if I'm 84% crazy, those guys are a little bit higher than that. So no, I'm not an electric universe disciple. Your birthday, Gary. I'll take a stab in the dark. November the 22nd. Right. At 55 minutes you start ragging on my diamonds. I put the video up showing pictures of the PDF. I could not put the PDF directly. I don't have I had the worst video editing software in the world here. It's Windows 10. All my Linux machines, I don't think I've got any video software on them. I think I've got two machines that run, no, three. I've got three machines. The one that runs one of the CNCs has got Windows on it because I'm running Mac 3 CNC software. The other one runs Linux CNC. And I built my own CNC machine so I can build parts, because I used to go to engineers and go, can you build this part? And the first thing, oh, what's it for? So you tell them what's it for, and then all of a sudden they become physics professors and they try and tell you, oh, no, and then oh, no, you've got to do it like this. And I'm thinking, no, I want this part and I want it this way. So rather than argue with all those people, I decided to build my own machine so I can make my own parts without having to explain myself to anybody. Anyway, so my diamonds are proven. I put the evidence up on the internet. It's by the highest authority in Australia, and if you think Australians are just a bunch of sportsmen, beer drinking, swearing, larrikins, whatever, no, we're not. There's some very clever Australians out there, and yeah, we achieve some pretty amazing stuff. So anyway, at 59 minutes and 50 seconds, you made me laugh. You think I'm going to the asteroid belt for gold and silver? Yeah, it'd be good to pick up some gold and silver while we're out there, maybe a ton or two. I'd be interesting to see the difference between the gold in the asteroid belt, the actual metallurgical difference, and the silver in the asteroid belt compared to what's available here on Earth. I don't know if there will be a difference, or different isotopes, or has the cosmic bombardment of those metals changed the structure in any way. No, Gary, there's things way more valuable out there than gold and silver. Then about around the 1 hour mark, you made fun and said electric storage, and you mentioned Duracell batteries. Are you really that desperate, Gary? What about hydrogen power cells, where we could take hydrogen and oxygen and have pure water as a drinking byproduct? I've got, sometimes you get a little off the track, Gary, really. Then you start talking about free energy. No such thing as free energy. As soon as you involve humans, money gets involved. So basically, he spent 43 minutes and 36. And yes, I'm capable of that. But my current project is a gravitational drive system, anti-gravity if you want, and I'm not going to disclose anything before the 12th of February. So with that, I won't waste your time any further. Thank you for watching, and there, have a good one.